about civility towards your colleagues, towards opposing parties. Understand these lessons, because when you get out in the real world, they're really important. You know, you all know the law. You've gone to class, you've got the books, you've got Lexis. You're all on even footing there. What's really going to distinguish each of you is your ability to get out there and make connections with people, your clients, with opposing counsel, to get cases resolved, and to do it in a way that makes you feel good at the end of the day. You know, that's really the difference. You're going to spend a lot of time in the practice of law, especially your first 5 years. There are many hours, and you're going to see your colleagues and think, oh my God, if I have to see you one more second, I might die. Or kill you. These are the people you're going to spend time with, and that because of that, it's really important. You love what you do. You know, you do it, and one of the ways you can love what you do is you do it well. You do it with pride. You know, it's not a means to an end. Whatever you're doing, even if it's not what you want to do, as a lawyer, that's your job. You took on that job, so even though you hate it, or you hate your client, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You have to suck it up, and you have to do the very best job that you can for your client. That's what it means to be a lawyer. And I think that's a lesson you might not get anywhere. You get that lesson the hard way when you're out practicing and something bad happens, which happens. But those are things that I ask students to think about as they approach the mark, or they're about to bar and come out to the world. For those of you who are interested in trial work, tell me why you want to do trial work. Come on, don't be shy, you're law students. You like talking, and you will very soon. Oh, sure, what's your name?
Brian Cole.
Brian Cole. Why do you want to do trial work?
Because I feel that it can be something I can be passionate about. I don't think I can be stuck behind a desk and writing those documents and going through line by line. But I know it's probably part of it.
It is part of it. You want to get out there and talk and make an argument?
Yes.
Okay. Who else? What's your name?
My name's Houston Porter. We had the First Step program this summer, and I always thought I wanted to do trial work because I like to argue, I like to problem solve, and then figured out additionally a lot of it is storytelling. It's the same facts for both sides, and now it's how can you get it out there, and so I enjoy that.
Good. Who else? What's your name?
Edgar.
Okay.
I actually was a paralegal for 10 years.
Great.
So I actually started as just corporate paralegal where I wasn't litigating, and then I got a taste of litigation, and I just loved it because you actually get to interact with the actual client. And I mean, I saw both sides of plaintiff and defense, and oftentimes I connected more with plaintiffs, so I've certainly taken a passion for that.
That's going to be a valuable experience for you to have that.
You're going to know how to use the fax machine and file it out into the court. Don't laugh. That is important stuff. It really is. How about those people who are on the fence? Ms. Santa Cruz. What's your name?
Dana.
Okay.
I think I actually have kind of the flip side of what you're talking about, because I grew up with a trial attorney father,
Okay.
and I was kind of born into it, I think. And I worked as a paralegal as well prior to coming to law school. And so I think I'm actually taking trial advocacy right now, and I realize it's really hard to, I mean, I can make connections with people one-on-one, but it's much harder to stand up there and actually say what I'm trying to say. It never goes as planned. So I think I'm trying to figure out if that's something I do feel passionate about and I am skilled at, or if it's something else that kind of strikes my fancy.
Remember Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to get good at anything, and that's true of trial work too. And when I think about the mistakes I made, you know, for the first many years, you know, and I sometimes I think even now, I really know how to do this, but it took a long time.
Well, I got to see my dad in trial, and it was a very different experience. I got to see what he really does, and I have a very close relationship with him. So I think I've gotten to see something different a lot of people don't get to see. And I want to see if I can do that too.
There are a couple, what you said is very interesting, and also I think a couple people mentioned the idea of storytelling. And obviously litigation involves a fair amount of public speaking. And public speaking is one of those things that people have a great fear of. There are very few people who are natural public speakers, and a lot of times public speaking requires you to practice it. And there are a lot of things that you can do outside of law school to help your ability to engage in an environment where you have to speak to a large group of people or a small group of people. And it sort of ties in with storytelling. Storytelling is a very big part of what we do, and some of the easiest things to speak about publicly involve stories that are personal to you. They don't have to be secrets, but something that's happened to you. And so one of the things I always suggest to law students and even to kids in college is to try to go out there and find ways to practice public speaking, right? Either speak at a seminar or get involved in a group where you might have to give a little speech, or start using your friends, your non-lawyer friends, as vehicles for your storytelling. And it's one-on-one. You take something that happened to you and not just tell it. I was at the bank and some guy cut in front of me in line, right? That's a factual recitation of what happened. You can take that and make it into an elaborate story, so someone is like, oh my, what's going to happen next? Okay, and those are kind of small exercises that you can do on a day-to-day basis. It's like, if you want to get fit, you want to do 100 sit-ups a day. These are small exercises you do to help you become more comfortable with oral advocacy and with storytelling. It's hard to become a public speaker. When I was in law school, I didn't think that I could get up and argue in front of a jury, and I participated in a civil law clinic at USF. And that clinic had worked on a racial discrimination case against a bar for 3 years. And the semester that I took the clinic, that case was going to trial. So 4 law students who tried a case with 4 plaintiffs in what was then the community court down in Santa Clara. Yeah, so I had to get up there as a law student and give an opening statement to real live jurors in front of people who are depending on me. And I will tell you, there's nothing better. I give you a little wake-up call about, hey, not only can you do this, you're going to do it, and you're going to do it right now. That's the kind of thing that forces you. Same thing with doing mock trial or moot court or appellate advocacy competitions in law school. They force you to get up. They force you to actually get up there and make arguments in front of other people. And once you do it a couple of times, every time you get up in front of people, you're going to feel more comfortable. But for me, even when I go to trial now, there's always that moment before I get up in front of the jury that I have to take a breath, okay, to calm my nerves, because it just never goes away. And I always feel like if you get to trial and you're not nervous at all, you've missed something, or you're not really prepared enough, or you don't care enough. That's always how I feel, but engaging with people is difficult, because we're up here today. We don't know any of you, one of you, and we don't know what your backgrounds are, or where you come from, or really why you're here, or what you want to hear.
What you're going to throw it at.
Right. And so what we can do, just like we would do with a jury, is ask you questions, try to get you to engage, and hopefully impart some information to you that you're going to receive. Out of all the things we talked about today, you guys will remember probably 2 or 3 things, just like a real jury. Okay? And what are those things? I have no idea. Hopefully you're going to remember that we came to you from SFTLA and we talked to you about a fellowship and we taught you how to get a job, right? That's what I hope you take away from this today. But I don't know that to be true, so all we can do is give you information in a way to make it a little bit compelling, that hopefully, you'll remember that. It's the same thing. It's, going out there making an argument for your client is the same thing. But, if you get the chance, get out there, speak in public. All right. Questions, comments, pleas for mercy? We're here to take any questions you have about anything.
Is to apply for the fellowship, is that that's through the LCS, or is that something?
The application is available on the SFTLA website.
Oh, okay.
And you can, it's up there, and it's on these little flyers. The application deadline this year is October 31st. And the application process is not that cumbersome. It's a 1-page application. We ask that you do a 1,000-word, I think a 500 or 1,000-word personal statement about your commitment to trial work, plaintiff's work, and diversity in the legal profession. And we also ask you submit a resume and a resume. So that can all be found online. And then once we get the applications, we review them, and then from there we start doing interviews. And we usually interview, well, it depends on how big the pool is, but we usually interview between 20 and 30 applicants. And
First round.
First round, and then we do second round of interviews, and then we choose the fellows. And we will have decisions made about choosing the fellows, I believe, the beginning of January. So we've moved up our timeline this year. Yep.
Kind of along the same thing. How many fellows do you take?
4.
Sorry.
Always
Always
4.
four.
It's always 4, and you each get a $6,000 stipend. Okay. Yep.
More generally, I've heard some attorneys say that you either choose to be a trial attorney or you do the other.
The other.
When you talk to trial attorneys, we were like, and the right. Although I
revolves around us.
I was in court yesterday in the asbestos section, but we were like interlopers because we're not asbestos lawyers, and I heard one of the asbestos lawyers say, "Oh, those are the non-asbestos lawyers." So it's a little, it's like junior high.
Very good, very good. That's good.
You know, yeah, there are aspects of law that are not, where you never go to trial. You know, if you do transactional work, non-litigation transactional work, you don't go to trial.
Not that there's anything wrong with
No, but that's a preference. I mean, there are some people who are totally happy to be doing reading through contracts and drafting whatnot. I don't know what they do, but yeah, IP work. So, and there are a lot of aspects of trial work that are outside what we do. You know, you can do business litigation, you can do IP litigation. Those are it's all trial work in a different setting than what we do. But I think, deciding what you want to do, whether or not you want to be a trial lawyer or not, is going to be a very personal choice, right? You have to really know what your skill set is and know who you are in some respects, okay? When law students ask me, what kind of skills do you need to be a trial lawyer, there are a lot of them. I think, for this fellowship, for example, we're looking for students who want to really work hard, they want to roll up their sleeves and dive right in there. They want to ask questions, they want to actually live it, But also, if you want to be a trial lawyer, you're a good one. Not only do you have to know how to use your mouth and speak, you have to know how to write. Writing is really an important part of what we do, and because part of litigation is fairly extensive motion work sometimes, and you have to be able to communicate your points in writing to a judge and to a mediator and to opposing counsel, so you can be heard. So being a trial lawyer also means that every single day, at least for me, you are going outside your comfort zone. Okay. The comfortable thing is to sit in your office and write a couple letters and do all those kinds of things, and that's all fine. But, when you're an advocate, there's a certain amount of conflict, and it's an adversarial process. Doesn't mean you have to be mean to your opposing counsel. I have great relationships with almost all opposing counsel that I encounter. Many are my very good friends. But it does mean you have to step outside and fight almost every day on something or another. And for a lot of people, that might not feel comfortable, and it shouldn't. But I don't think that's generally human nature at this point, because we don't have to eat and kill anymore. But you have to be able to be willing to do that, and it's a constant education. Even now, I learn something new all the time, and you have to want to learn something new. You have to want to analyze issues in a different way, even though you've seen an issue 100 times before. You have to treat each case as being fresh. You have to look at it, you have to analyze it, you have to figure out how you're going to attack it, you have to strategize. So analytical skills are really important, but you also have to want to take the risk. Being a plaintiff's trial lawyer is a lot about taking risks for yourself, for your firm, for your clients, and being able to make decisions not for your clients, but help your clients make decisions, and also you have to be able to make decisions about cases. Does that answer your question?
Gives me another perspective, yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you know in 20 years.
Okay. What else? Yep.
So do you think there are more defense lawyers or more plaintiffs lawyers? And is it true what I've heard about plaintiffs lawyers generally making more money?
Wow. Is it? I don't know. Are there more